Hey guys, how's it going? Here from HY Utilities, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install Windows as a backup OS on your hard drive. So Windows doesn't actually include any form of recovery options, so it's useful to have a separate OS on a separate partition that you can use to debug errors on your main partition. So today I'll show you how to do that. You're going to need a couple of things, a Windows 8 install disk, obviously, a Windows 8 compatible computer, obviously, pretty much the obvious things. So yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to need. So let's get started. Go to desktop, and then what you want to do is right click on start and hit disk management. I'll zoom in. Okay, and now what you're going to want to do is you want to partition a hard drive or current partition so that you can fit Windows onto it. So I'm going to partition my C drive. This is my main drive. So what I'll do is I will now right click it. If I do it, blah, 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 blah. Oops, calculator. That's what you need, and you're going to want to times number of gigabytes by 1024 to get your number. Now what you're going to want to do is right click, shrink volume. So the number in the calculator will be the number in megabytes, so you can split the partition accordingly. So we just wait for this to finish up. Hopefully it gets done fast. Oh, there we go. And we're just going to want to copy this number from the calculator and paste it in disk management, and then hit shrink. Close out calculator. Just wait for this to finish up. There you go. Then what you're going to want to do is right click on the unallocated space, hit new simple volume, next, and choose a random drive letter that you're never going to use. So I just chose Z, hit next, and then you just want to remove the volume label if you want, or call it whatever, and enable file compression, and then hit finish. So we just wait for this to finish. There you go, and you can then close out disk management. So now what you're going to want to do is you want to grab your Windows 8 CD. Now this has to be a valid unpirated copy, so that you don't pirate things. Pirating is bad. So I've just got my Dell stock disk that I got just in case if anything happened. So we're putting that to good use today. So you're going to need to firstly make sure that it's the right disk, obviously. And if you have a 64-bit operating system and 32-bit disk, you probably want to get the 64-bit. So just pop that into your drive, and then we're going to shut down our computers. Now there's two ways of actually booting up this CD. Now if you have a UEFI BIOS, which is most ideal, you're going to want to actually boot it up in UEFI because that makes the load up faster. But if you don't have UEFI and you're on a legacy BIOS, I'll show you how to do that actually, because it's pretty important that you select the right things so that you don't actually, break your computer. So you're gonna wanna turn your PC on. Don't do that. And then get into your BIOS. So that's many different keys for many different motherboards. But my key is F12. That's usually for Dell systems. So if you have a Dell system, go ahead and press F12. So now what you're going to want to do is, if you've got the CD in, boot your PC up. So we'll just hit the power button, and now we'll keep tapping F12 until this comes up. Now what you're going to want to do is, if you are in UEFI, you just want to UEFI boot the disk from him. But as I was saying earlier, if you're still on legacy BIOS, what you're going to want to do is open up your BIOS setup. Then you're going to want to go to boot, turn secure boot off if you have the option, and then you're going to want to turn that into legacy, and set your first boot device as your DVD drive or your USB. And then what you're going to want to do is hit exit and save changes. And then, but because I didn't save my first boot device because I'm doing a UEFI boot, I'm just going to hit F12 again and then boot. So I'm just going to press any key as Windows tells you to do, and then there you go, we're booting. Now this will take a bit of time, so just let it sit through and then I'll be back once it's done. Okay, so now you're here, you're just going to want to tap, click or tap my language is English, and then just set the appropriate settings for your device. Mine is just United Kingdom, and hit install now. Just wait for this to access the setup. Focus. There you go. Now you're going to want to put in your key. If you don't have your key, I will link a few key finders in the description. So now that you put your key in, just accept the license term. Make sure you read this because it's very important. Microsoft will rule the world. Yes. Anyway, hit accept the license terms and then hit next. Just ignore that other bit. Make sure you hit custom, and then you're going to want to install it to the correct drive. Hit 30 gigs or whatever you create. Make sure you don't decide to install it on your main drive because you will lose all of your data. So be very careful when installing. Then just hit next if you're feeling comfortable, which you should be because I'm guiding you. So that's it. We'll have to wait for this to complete. This will take a bit of time, so just let it sit through and I'll be back later. Alright, now the setup has finished. I'm just gonna reconfigure this tripod. This is driving me nuts. And then you're gonna want to wait for Windows to boot. Now the most likely thing that's gonna happen is it's gonna bring us into the bootloader because we do have 2 instances of Windows, so it's not gonna figure out by itself which one you want to boot into. But what you're gonna be able to do now is you can change the timer so to how long this bootloader displays for. Choose the default operating system. That should be your main C drive. In my case it's volume 5, but the current is volume 6. I will change that later. And then you got choose other options, which finally give you some recovery options, so that if neither boots now, which is kind of funny, you can still access some boot options. That's pretty cool. What's on that bloody screen? And there you have, guys. I'm just going to quickly set this up and I'll be right back. And there you have it, guys. You now have a working install of Windows 8. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you're feeling awesome, drop a like and subscribe to us. But as always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and I'll catch you later. Peace.